Good morning, students. I hope you have gone through our session number 1 and 2 on bill of exchange. So today we will move forward with our next session. In earlier sessions we covered definition, concept of due date and journal entries. So journal entries we covered till dishonor of bill. So today we will be covering renewal of bills, insolvency of DROI, retirement of bill, and accommodation bills. So these four we will cover in session 3. Okay, so keep your pencils and copies ready, and I hope that you are making the notes which will be handy when you will practice the practical problems. Okay, so before we move forward, let's have a quick recap on what we covered earlier. So bill of exchange we know is one of the mode wherein the buyer can defer payment by accepting bill of exchange, right? So we learned that the first step is usually the sale of goods, which is recorded in the books of DROI as in the books of drawer as DROI account debit to sales account, and in the books of DROI as purchase account to drawer, right? Second entry we said is accepting the bill of exchange or drawing the bill of exchange. So in the books of drawer, what entry we passed? Bill receivable account debit to DROI account. And in the books of DROI, this bill receivable will become bill payable. So he is accepting the bill. So entry will be drawer account debit to bills payable account, and on due date when the payment is made, bank account debit to bill receivable account, and here when the payment is made, bills payable account debit to bank account, right? These were 3 entries when the drawer chooses to keep the bill till maturity, right? Okay, so what we learned earlier is that sometimes 3 scenarios can happen from a drawer perspective. So drawer can either hold the bill, discount the bill with bank, or can endorse the bill to third party. And we said when he is holding the bill, no entries. When discounting the bill, we said the entry will be bank account debit, discount account discount on bill debit with the amount of discount and to bill receivable. And when the bill is endorsed to the third party, then name of the third party to bill receivable. This is debit. Right? These entries can be passed by the drawer. From a drawee perspective, drawee has nothing to do what the drawer is doing with the bill. So there will be no entry, irrespective whether the bill is held till maturity by the drawer or discounted with the bank or endorsed to the third party. So drawee is not impacted. So drawee will not pass any entry in their books. Right? So this is a recap of what we covered in second session. Okay, that is why I am quickly covering this. What else we covered earlier is the dishonor of the bill. Right? So in normal circumstances, we expect that the bill will be paid. So from a drawer perspective, and this is drawee. So if the bill is paid and if the bill is held till maturity, so bill is held by the drawer and the bill is paid by the drawee on due date. So bank account debit to bill receivable account. Right? If the bill is discounted and paid by drawee on due date, no entry. And if the bill is endorsed, then also no entry by the drawer if the bill is paid by the drawee on due date. And from a drawee perspective, because the bill is being paid on due date, the only entry will be bills payable debit to bank account. So these are the entries will be passed when the bill is paid on maturity. But sometimes the drawee is not having the funds ready and the bill is dishonored. So when the drawee is not making the payment on due date, we treat this as dishonor of the bill. Right? So let's try to understand what entries will be passed. This is only a recap. We have already covered this part in our earlier session. It's a quick recap, right? So we covered that when dishonor of bill happens, then the drawer needs to make payment of some noting charge to register the protest with the notary public. So when the dishonor will happen, the drawer will pass entry. So if the bill is held till maturity, right? So entry will be reversed. Drawee account debit to bill receivable, right? And if the bill is discounted, then entry will be passed. What entry will be passed? Drawee account debit to bank account. And if the bill is endorsed, the entry will be passed. Drawee account debit to third party, whom we have already endorsed the bill, third party. So in all these circumstances, always drawee account will be debited and the credit will be given if you are holding the bill till maturity to bill receivable. If discounted, credit will be given to the bank, and if it is held with third party because of the endorsement, then credit will be given to the third party, right? Okay. And we know that the drawer, when the dishonor of the bill happens, need to pay the noting charges. And these noting charges needs to be paid by drawee ultimately, because it is because of the default of the drawee, the drawer needs to make the payment of noting charge. So it is assumed that it is paid on behalf of drawee. So what entries we will do? dry account debit to bank account or cash account, whatever you want to mention. So this is being noting charges paid. Why we are debiting dry's account? Because ultimately we need to recover these noting charges from the dry, right? So this is dishonor of the bill, this is the noting charge paid, right? From a dry perspective, I hope you have made those notes. From the dry perspective, when the bill is dishonored, the entry will be passed bills payable account debit. Will reverse the entry bill payable account debit to drawer account, right? And since the noting charges are paid on their behalf, so for noting charges, and noting charge is the expense for the drawee, so they will pass the entry noting charges, and who has paid this? Drawer account credit. Noting charges debit, drawer account credit. These are the two entries passed in the books of drawee. Okay, now we are moving forward. So these are the circumstances which we already covered in our session 2. Okay, so what else can happen? So now, and again we will cover one by one, first in the books of drawer and then in the books of drawing, right? So this is statement, accounts impacted, and journal entry in the books of drawer. Okay, so statement number 1. So after the bill is dishonored and the noting charges are paid, so what option is left? So let's assume that the drawee, after the bill is dishonored, right, reaches out to the drawer. So A is supposedly the drawer and B is the drawee. So B reaches out to A and requests them that he or she is not able to make the payment on due date. So and hence they are okay to make a part payment of the bill. Okay, so what can happen is that part payment is made and remaining part is again accepted as bill. So a new bill will be drawn for the remaining part. And thirdly, the drawee can agree to pay interest for the period, because the bill is not paid on due date. So drawee says that I will pay you interest for the tenor of the new bill, right? So these three things they agree. Now when the part payment is made by the drawee, so what will happen? Supposedly there was a bill of say 20,000 which got dishonored, right? And there were some 200 rupees noting charges which was paid by A. Now the drawee says that okay, the B says that I will make you a payment of 10,200 rupees. So part payment is made and rest of the 10,000 will be accepted as a bill. So when part payment is made, right, so what will be the entry? Now two accounts, which are the two accounts impacted? Bank account, because you are receiving the payment, right? And who is making the payment? Drawee. So B's account, right, or drawee account. Two accounts are impacted because part payment is received, right? And this is an asset, so asset goes up, so bank account debit. And B is a debtor which is making the payments, so debtor is an asset, so asset going down, which will be credited to B's account. So how much? Say for this example, 10,200 rupees is paid by B, right? Secondly, total amount was due 20,200, out of which 10,200 B has paid. Remaining part, he said that you draw another bill on me. Now A is drawing another bill, so two accounts impacted. Bill receivable, this is a new bill, right? And on whom it is drawn? B's account, right? Which is drawing. So we know bill receivable is an asset and a new bill is drawn, so asset is going up. What we will do? Will debit it. Bill receivable account 10,000, remaining part, right? Out of 20,200, 10,200 is received, 10,000. And B is again an asset, is a debtor, but because they have accepted the bill, so total B's account is going down, so to B's account, right? 10,000, right? Before that, actually, I'm sorry, because the bill, Broy has also agreed to pay the interest for the period. So let's assume this interest is say 500 rupees, or sometimes it is mentioned that interest will be paid like say 10%. So if this is at the rate of 10% per annum, so they can mention that, so you can accordingly calculate. It can be 10%, 15%, whatever is mentioned. So you can calculate the amount of interest. So like, what is the remaining portion now? Only 10,000, right? Supposedly it is 15% rate of interest, 15 by 100, right? And supposedly it is for 4 months. The new bill is for 4 months. Then you will calculate like this, you, right, is equal to 500. So 500 is interest. So which are the two entries? Interest, and who is paying the interest? B, right? So interest is a income for A, so incomes are to be credited, right? And B is a debtor who will be paying this, and it is going up. Debtor will go up because of the interest being charged, so it will be debited. So B's account debit to interest account, how much? 500 rupees. And now the new bill will be accepted. So for how much? 500 is interest, 10,000 is the remaining payment. So new bill will come for 10,500, right? And supposedly this bill is now paid on due date. So we know what entry we will be passing. So yeah, if this bill is paid on due date, right? Two accounts which are impacted is bill receivable, and you are receiving the payment, so bank account. So this bill we have held till maturity, not discounted with the bank. So bill receivable, your asset, since the payment is made, it is going down, so you will credit it to bills receivable. And bank account, you are receiving the payment, so it is going up, your asset, so bank account will be debit. How much you will receive? 10,500, right? Hope this is clear to you. Okay, I'm giving you half a minute to note this. Okay, right. So these are the entries to be done in the books of Broy, right? And how it will impact the books of dry, let's try to understand. Situation remains similar, right? These are the situations, and in the books of dry. Okay, so when the part payment is made, now the dry is making the payment, so bank is impacted, right? And whom they are making the payment to? A or drawer, right? For B, draw your B. So bank, because they are making the payment, so their bank will go down, which is your asset going down, so it should be credited to bank account. And who is receiving the payment? A is receiving the payment, it is their creditor, right? Creditor is also going down, so when the liability goes down, it will be debited. So A is account, debit. How much they have paid? Earlier example, 10,200. Now they have agreed to pay the interest, right? So, but we can pass entry here. So interest, they need to pay interest payment, right? And to whom the interest needs to be paid? To A or drawer, right? So interest is the expense for B, expenses to be debited, so interest account, debit. And A is a creditor, which is going up because you need to pay him more, so to A account. So liability, if it is going up, it is to be credited to A's account. How much was the interest? 500 rupees. You make this a due entry, right? And thirdly, then part payment, you accepted a new bill. The new bill will be bills payable for the drawing, right? And whom you are giving the bill? A's account, which is drawer, right? So bill payable is a liability, your liability is going up, so it has to be credited to bills payable. And A is your creditor, and if you give the bill to them, the creditor going down, so your liability going down, so that is to be creditor. A's account or drawer account to be debited. With how much? 10,000 is the remaining portion, 500 is the interest, so new bill 10,500. And on due date, when the bill is paid, so bank account is impacted and bills payable, right? So you're making the payment, your asset goes down, so when your asset goes down, you credit that account. And you're making the payment on bill payable, your liability goes down. If your liability goes down, it should be debited. Bills payable. So bills payable account to bank account if the payment is made on due date by B. Okay, I hope you're making the notes and the situation is clear to you. Okay, so moving forward, we will cover the insolvency. Okay, so this is how the entries to be passed when the first bill is dishonored and then another bill is accepted. So we are not covering those entries because it can also happen that the second bill can also have similar circumstances. It can be held till maturity, it can be discounted, or it can be endorsed. So these entries will remain the same, right? Irrespective whether it is first bill or second bill, which we have covered in session 2 or earlier in session 3. So we need not to cover those. So depending upon the circumstances, you can accordingly pass those entries, right? So we'll cover what will happen if the second bill is also dishonored and B is not able to make the payment and declared insolvency. So insolvency is a new term used first time in this session on bill of exchange. So insolvency means that the drawee has, you can say, declared bankruptcy. Bankruptcy means that I don't have, so B says that I don't have money to pay my creditors, and the court will, what will happen? Court will appoint liquidator who will sell off their assets, sell off the assets of B, and whatever total amount is available, they will make the payment, right? But on an often basis, the payment done by liquidator is not 100%, so they may pay like 50 paisa in a rupee, which means 1/2 of whatever was outstanding. So they will decide, the liquidator will decide that what are the asset liabilities of drawee, and then accordingly will make the payment. So we'll cover the insolvency. So what happens if B becomes, or the drawee becomes insolvent on due date of the bill, or even before the due date of the bill? So how insolvency will impact, right? So we, in the earlier example, we said that the B actually paid 10,200 rupees cash and accepted a bill of 10,500 rupees. This is the second bill. So if the payment is not made by B on due date, so what will happen? So drawer or A, so the second bill is dishonored, and because it was not discounted, so what will be the entry? B's account debit, right? Because B is your debtor, and because the bill is now dishonored, the debtor's liability is increased, so your asset is going up, you will debit B's account, and since bill receivable is now dishonored, you will credit bill receivable account, right? So 10,500 okay. And what the drawee will do? So drawee will also dishonor their bills payable. So what they will do? Bills payable account debit to A's account, right? So 10,500. So now this bill is dishonored, and B declared. Now B declared insolvency. So B said that I will not be able to make the payment of whatever is outstanding, and as we said that the liquidator will be appointed. So it can happen that B declared insolvency and drawer gets nothing. It can also happen that drawer gets part payment, say half or 50% or whatever, that will be provided in the question. So when he declared insolvency, and if you get nothing, then you need to square this off. So there is no entry, so you are not receiving any cash from B, so it will be all gone into bad debts, right? Bad debts means this is to be written off as B is not able to pay, and to B's account, because you are writing the debtor off. So B is credited with 10,500 rupees, right? In case you get anything like a part payment or something, then this entry, second one, can be bank account debit, whatever amount you get in cash, right? Amount received, whatever amount you are receiving, it will be debited to your bank account. And let's assume if we get 50%, then 5,250 will get. Rest of the amount they are not going to pay. Bad debt account debit 5250, right? and the B's account will be squared off by 10,500 rupees. Okay. And how these entries are reflected in the books of DROI? So if they are not paying anything, then what they will do, because they need not to pay to anything to A, so A's account debit 10,500 and credit will be given to deficiency account. Right? And if they are going to pay 50%, so similarly A's account, so A's account will be debited with full amount because the account is now being squared off to bank account, whatever amount they are paying, and to deficiency account. They will pass the entry. Right? Making sense? Okay, you can make the note. Take a note of it. Okay. So let's move forward. So what else can happen to a bill of exchange transaction? We almost covered everything. Another concept is, which is called retirement of bill. Retirement of bill. This means that sometimes the DROI wanted to make early payment, right? Those circumstances wherein DROI wanted to make early payment before the due date will be called retirement of the bill, right? It is same as you are making the payment of the bill, right? But then because the early payment is being made, sometimes when you are retiring a bill, DROI give you some discount. To encourage early repayment, sometimes the DROI gives some discount on it. So we have two circumstances or two statements, right? So DROI, so it is a 3 months bill. DROI wants to pay after 2 months, right? And DROI agrees to give some discount to ensure that the payment is made earlier, to incentivize. So how the books of DROI will be impacted? So first of all, discount. So supposedly it is a bill of 10,000 and discount agreed is 500, right? So DROI what will do? Which are the two accounts impacted? Discount, right? And DROI. So discount is an expense to DROI. So the entry will be passed discount, or you can also say rebate to DROI. And if we continue with our earlier example, which is DROI is B, right? So 500, whatever discount we agreed to pass on to B, and now the payment is received on bill, depending upon where the bill is, whether you are holding it till maturity or, right? So two accounts impacted, bill, right? And you are receiving the payment, so it's bank account, right? So you are receiving the payment, so bank account debit. How much you will get? 10,000 minus 500, 9,500. 500 is discount. So please pardon me, this is not required, this entry, I'm sorry. Only a single entry will do. Whenever you are passing on a discount, So bank account you will receive 9,500, whatever amount you receive as a early payment, and discount your expenditure. So you will put discount account and you will credit the bill receivable by full amount, whatever is the amount of the bill, right? Okay, and in the books of drawee, they are making the payment of 9,500, earning a discount of 500 and squaring of the bill, right? So bill payable 10,000, to bank account 9,500 they paid, and to rebate or interest, rebate is the proper word, so rebate account credited by 500. This is the entry which will be passed by the drawing. Got it? I'm sorry for the confusion earlier, but we will pass only a single entry rather than passing the discount entry separately. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now moving to the last concept for bill of exchange, which is accommodation of bills, right? So accommodation bills. Let's first understand the concepts. Entries will almost be similar to what we have already covered. So accommodation, usually the bills are of two types. One is commercial bills or trade bills, or one is accommodation bills. Why it is called commercial or trade bill is because usually these bills are backed by some kind of a sale purchase transaction, right? We understand from our earlier discussion that there will be first sale or purchase happening, and then to square off that liability a bill is raised or accepted. But in accommodation bill there is no trade transaction. There is no trade transaction. The very purpose of raising the accommodation bill is to help each other or to help a friend, right? To help each other. So how it happens, let's try to understand how and why they do it. So supposedly there are two friends or three friends, for example, A, B and C. They are in need of money, right? So, and there is no way they can take a loan from the bank. Now what will happen? A, B and C decide to raise a bill on each other, right, without any commercial transaction happening. So there is no sale and purchase happening. So what A will do, A will draw a bill on B, and B will draw a bill on C, and C will draw a bill on A, right? Supposedly it is 5,000 each, right? So now A has, because it has drawn a bill, it has a bill receivable of 5,000. This has drawn a bill on C, so it is also have a bill receivable of 5,000, and similarly C is also having a bill receivable of 5,000. And if they go to their bank and discount the bill, now all three of them discount the bill for rupees say 4,950, right? So when they discount the bill, A will get 4,950, B will get 4,950, and C will also get 4,950, right? So this way they are able to get some funds without having any commercial transaction. So on due date, A will pay his acceptance, which is a bill of C. So on due date, what will happen? A will pay his accepted bill. So pay 5,000. B will pay his 5,000 and C will pay his 5,000. So by paying a small discount of rupees 50, they are able to enjoy amount, right? Backed by accommodation between three parties. It can be accommodation between two parties also. It can be accommodation between four parties also, right? So there is no limitation to how the things work out. Okay. There may be multiple scenarios how people try to accommodate to each other, right? This is one scenario. There is no need to understand the entries because the entries will remain in line with our previous examples. When you draw a bill, when you discount a bill, and when you pay the bill on due date, right? So the entries will remain same. Though for understanding purpose, we will cover one example on accommodation of bill, right? So let's try to cover one example of accommodation of bill. And to make it, you can say, more understandable, so we will capture the statements to the extent possible. We'll make it a little bit complicated, right? So these are two friends, one is A and one is B. Okay, they wanted to help each other to get some money. So statement number one, now there is no sale purchase transaction, right? A draws a bill of rupees 10,000 on B, right? So A becomes drawer and B becomes drawer, right? For the first transaction. So A draws a bill. A is a drawer. So he draws a bill. So he will get bills receivable to B 10,000. And what B will do? A's account debit to bills payable 10,000. Okay. So second, A discount the bill for rupees say 9,800. Now A will discount the bill. So bank account debit 9,800, discount account 200, and to bill receivable 10,000. So, but the discounting entry, there will be no entry in the books of drawing, as we no entry. Okay. Now this is statement 1, this is statement 2, and now statement 3. Now because the bill is drawn to mutually help each other, and they have agreed with each other that half of the amount of discounted money will be remitted to B. So as per agreement, A remitted 1/2 amount to B. As per agreement, half of this amount will be remitted to B, and as the half of amount will be remitted, this portion of loss because of the discount will be shared in the same proportion. Okay, so now A will remit half of the amount to B. So because B is receiving the amount, B's account debit, right? Okay, how much? Half of 10,000, so 5,000 to bank account, half of it 4,900, and to discount account, because discount account will be shared. It was shown as a loss of 200. Now that loss is shared by A, so it will be discount credited 100. And since A is remitting to B, B will receive it from A. So bank account 4,900. Now it becomes a loss of B, discount account 100, and to A's account 5,000. Right? Now on due date, now see from this example, so A gets 10,000, right, bill, and paid 5,000 to B, so keeping 5,000 to himself. Now on due date, it is expected that B will make the payment of the bill, but he has received only 5,000 from A. So until unless A remitted his part to B, B may not be able to make the payment. So fourth statement is, on due date, A remitted 5,000 to B and B makes the payment of bill, right? So A remitted 5,000, so B's account debit to bank account 5,000. B will receive from A's account debit, B will receive the payment, bank account debit to A 5,000, and on due date the bill will be paid. For him, because the bill is already discounted, so there will be no entry on the due date, but for B they need to make the payments. So bill payable to bank account 5,000. Okay, so this is called accommodation of bills. The scenarios can be different. There can be complications coming from B's insolvency or B not making the payment on due date and accepting another bill. So there can be different scenarios and circumstances, but broadly the entries will remain same. We can discuss those examples or complicated examples when we will talk about or try to solve some practical examples in session 4. But as of now, I think if we can cover this much, it should be sufficient to take care of your, from an examination point of view. I don't expect that so many complications will be there in your +1 exams, right? So if you cover till now, that should be sufficient, right? I hope you enjoyed the session. We have come to an end of our session on bill of exchange. Please feel free to write to me in comment section. I will be happy to answer your queries. And please also share this video with your friends and fellow students who can also be benefited by these sessions to have a better understanding around the topic bill of exchange. Please continue to watch my videos and share and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.